Finance and accounting software. Gain greater financial control and the freedom to focus on delivering your aims. Access financial management software can transform how you manage and control your finances, keeping you connected across your teams and improving productivity. Outdated processes and disconnected systems can cause inefficiencies, adding unnecessary costs, risks, and consuming valuable time. Access Financials brings together sophisticated accounting software with project, procurement, sales and operations financial management into one powerful finance platform, offering you improved accuracy, enhanced efficiency, and greater business visibility. See accurate, up-to-date management info for real-time visibility and control of costs, revenue, issues and opportunities, enabling better decision-making. Project costings and timesheets, invoicing, reporting and analytics, expenses, approvals, budgeting, procurement, core accounting. Accounting software that dramatically improves visibility and productivity, making you more efficient and more in control, and allowing you to focus on making a difference.
Thank you very much for attending this short presentation today. So my name is Steve Berridge. My specialism is financial software, leveraging technology and making sure that the back office is as efficient as possible in order to maintain profits and scalability as best as we possibly can. So what we're talking about specifically is how systems should be joined together, and if they are joined together, and if we have processes that are automated, those processes should not be spreadsheets or things that are in isolation or work in isolation. They should be fully integrated together. So a good example of that would be procurement. So that procurement is part of finance, and therefore by definition we have an understanding of not just what we've spent and what we budgeted to spend, but also where we've committed to spend any costs as well, which by definition gives us a lot more control, lots more visibility as part of what we do. So I'm pleased to say that we do have credibility and experience in the sports and hospitality sectors. There's a brief quote there from Kevin at Leicester City Football Club that happened to be a referral from Leicester Tigers, who are also a customer, and we've extended out into things such as the RFU, the Welsh Rugby. The Rugby Union, and also the British and Irish Lions. I think companies like Saracens and Wasps. Now, something that's quite common with the type of organisations that we deal with, there is a need for quite often multiple entities and obviously multiple departments, and also projects too. So if we talk about the multiple entities, in the example of some of our sports clubs, the stadium might be owned by the club, but actually it's a separate legal entity to the club itself. Others have charitable statuses, so sort of grassroots football or rugby or whatever it might be. So therefore the need to maintain multiple entities and produce accounts at different levels there. And also when we talk about departments, those departments might be individual departments which need to maintain budgets, procure, all of those types of important things that we need to do as an organisation. Now, one of the most flexible and key parts to our solution that makes it lend its sort of solution so well to the sector we're talking about here today is the projects ledger. So a project can span multiple years and periods. A project could be an event, which might be a match, it might be a wedding, it might be a conference. It has the ability to track income and expenditure at a project level and also have attributes. So it was a home match. Post-event, we know the attendance was X, Y or Z. We know what the weather was like on that particular occasion. We know the date of the match. We know that it was a cup match. We know who the opponent was. Those types of things and what season it may be. So what we can then start to do is budget better, because we understand that when we play X, Y or Z club at home in a cup competition, this is a sort of attendance we should expect in the summer versus what it might be in January, those types of things. So the high key versus low key type concepts. We understand the idea of revenue recognition, so quite often for event-based businesses, the revenue is released based upon the date of the event. So costs and revenues go to balance sheet, and then when the event happens, the system says, shall I release those costs and revenues from the balance sheet and drop them into the profit and loss? And equally, it's important sometimes a week or two before an event to run an age debt by event and make sure that all the corporate hospitality or other things have been paid in advance of the event rather than post-event when it might then become challenging to collect those elements. Staff expenses and procurement lend themselves to those processes, but there's just an idea, a view of giving you the sort of ideas and things that we're able to do utilising our system. So we've talked about the entity structures. One of the things that we do is the security profiling of the users can be set to that entity level. What we can also then start to do is consolidate data, but also use intercompany. So if there's an account whereby we're recharging a telephone cost from the stadium to the club, then by definition of posting to an intercompany nominal code, it does the equal and opposite debit and credit in the other entity at the same time, so that we're keeping the trial balance, the intercompany balance is integral, and we can see how the intercompany can get eliminated nice and easily when it comes to being able to produce monthly accounts more efficiently and more effectively. So multiple VAT groups, single VAT groups, it's a decision to make. What logos appear on what invoices and how they appear. Again, it's all defined at the company level, so it would know that this is related to the stadium rather than the club itself, and therefore a different logo may appear or a different VAT reference might appear. The Making Tax Digital is fully integrated with how we operate. In terms of the departmental structures, it can be as many levels and as many depths as you want to have. Just a very, very simple view there. But actually it can be codes within codes within codes within codes, so that you get your valid account code combinations. And then being able to push that data back out to our department heads or our budget holders on a real-time basis. So the whole proposition should be they're not complaining on the 14th of the month that the report they get given, they've overspent on the capital project that was returfing the pitch or whatever it might be, but actually they've got full visibility and real-time views of that data if you wish to do so. So I've already explained the concept of the events ledger or the projects ledger being used for different things. So we have the concept of templates. So you might have a match template that's very different to a conference template or very different to a capital template. And therefore, whenever we create a new project, we do it off a project commencement process. We set the budget, that gets approved, etc., etc. Example here of a project, so you can see one in motion whereby the project itself, the name of the match, what was budgeted in terms of cost and revenues, and within that particular project, the work breakdown structure, the way that the data is set. And as I say, that's given a real-time view. We have an OCR engine, so an optical character recognition engine for automatically reading purchase invoices. But even just using the purchase invoice register, matching invoices back to purchase order, scanning the purchase invoice into the system, that gives you HMRC compliance, and you can throw those invoices into the bin if you choose to do so. The income and expense journal we talked about, whereby releasing or deferring the costs and revenues from balance sheet to P&L or vice versa, depending on how we need to do it. And then the automation of the management accounts in the way that you need to produce it for investors, for your board, whomever it may be. So just a couple of final things to talk about here. Here we're looking at the idea of an I&E, in effect, an income and expenditure by project, being given the ability to drill down through the data. So starting at that hierarchical level and drilling down even to the source purchase invoice itself, if it happened to be from the purchase ledger. We all like Excel. But actually, you can see that on the right-hand side, the toolkit we have enables us to actually create dynamic links using our features and functions to get to those attributes we talked about earlier about who the competitor was, what season was it, what type of event was it, to enable us to get to that data and pass it out to people on a real-time basis. So yes, the use of Excel, but absolutely not keying data into Excel. So first and foremost, mission critical. What we've done is we've created something called a flight path. The method of a time to value process of being able to say, what are your priorities and getting you live quickly, because we've created templates that we can use and reuse. Now, if you are identical to another cricket club or rugby club or football club, then we can leverage the way that data has been structured to make the implementation less risk-free, or should I say more risk-free, and less time-consuming upon yourselves. So first and foremost, the type of organisations that we deal with, generally speaking, over time they're experiencing high levels of complexity, maybe size, up or down, challenging obviously in terms of capacity of crowds and stuff over the last short period of time, which hopefully will be returning to normal shortly. But actually that makes it a good time to put a system in. So whilst things are quieter, it's a good opportunity to say, how can we leverage this time more effectively? But in effect, for a period of time, your current system's working well for you, but where they've still started to fall behind where the business or the organisation is going, headcount administratively can start to grow. So we want to change those processes and make sure that we're automating processes and we're integrating systems and elements of things like expenses and procurement and projects into the finance system itself. By doing so, in effect, what we're doing is trying to focus on what would be your primary needs. So your primary needs might be just to get a new finance system in place. That would enable us to remain static in headcount, possibly reduce headcount in finance. But we should then be on a journey. So integration with ticketing, putting in expenses, putting in procurement. It doesn't all have to be done in one go. It can be done over time as your needs or requirements change, or focusing on those priorities to make the ability to keep the project as succinct as possible as we go. And in order to do that, we've already talked about what we call the flight path, but in effect we have a managed process that is designed for different sectors, whereby we don't come to the table with a blank piece of paper. We come with this is what we think you would need based upon your sector. Where are you different and why are you different? And then we drive through the solution of designing and optimizing, configuring that whole process as part of the delivery. And I'm pleased to say that the actual quantity of deliveries that we've done during the last 12 to 18 months, i.e. the COVID period, has increased, not decreased, and is being able to be delivered entirely 100% remotely if that's what we need to do. So because it's all web-based, because it's all in the cloud, by definition, anything that can be done from site can also be done from home.
So finally, in addition to the overview of the software, I think it's really important to understand the importance of a successful system, but also a successful implementation. A few case studies have been released both for Leicester City Football Club and that of Leicester Tigers. I guess the evidential part is not only do we have an understanding of what clubs need, but actually able to deliver it. And earlier I talked about our flight path process, which enables us to start with a template to deliver what is needed by any event-based organisation stroke club. So in some of these examples, like I said, the need for multiple systems, even beyond finance, so ticketing, the need for merchandising if it's in-house, but also things such as what charities need if they have a grassroots foundation or anything along those particular lines too. Interestingly, Leicester City Football Club were an investor in our solution on the back of an implementation that we did within Leicester Tigers itself. Historically, clients such as the Welsh Rugby Union, the Irish Rugby Union and that of Scotland have been clients, but also through the uncompetitive nature of clubs off the pitch, the financial controllers and finance directors meet regularly and discuss good and bad things, and obviously if we weren't in a position to discuss positive things, then we wouldn't continue to be successful in these sectors. So making sure the consultants that we involve know the key components of what these clubs need. Of course, procurement being a key part of what we deliver, but actually the need to integrate with ticketing systems and the like. And now I would say that we've integrated with the majority of the key players within the market. So again, moving on to Leicester Tigers, I guess in lots of ways they were managing their data in spreadsheets. So the need for the ability to get real-time information was nigh on impossible. The reconciliation processes between the likes of their finance solution and their spreadsheets took forever. So I think it's key just to sort of understand that that we understand, and actually delivering a solution is a key part of any decision-making process that you may have. So thank you very much for your time. Hopefully what I've shown you is interesting. These two case studies that you see are actually snippets taken from full case studies, so please do ask if you are keen to read more. Equally, if you are keen to have a full presentation of the software, please do let us know, and I would be very happy to do so. Thank you.